Let's jump in on Mike Lindell real quick. He was on, let's see. He was on the Steve Bannon's War Room. There's 2 separate clips. They're of different varying lengths. So we'll, So we will, give me a second. Let me straighten this up so we can actually get some, there you go. He's in yet another hotel room as he moves around the country hiding Tina Peters from the feds, apparently. The Mind Pillow guy, yes. This is called, Mike Lindell makes huge announcement about Supreme Court case. Huge. It's huge. It's a huge, guys, it's not just huge announcement. It's huge. This is a huge announcement about the Supreme Court case. I can't wait. You can't wait. Huge announcement. It's going to be huge. It's not going to be him saying the same shit he said before and insist that things are going to be different. No, this is a huge, huge announcement.
Mike, real quick,
Exactly.
I just want to go back to something on Cyber Symposium. People said it was a total disaster.
Yes, I was one of those people.
Show the packet captures. But your point is, hey, if it's such a disaster, you're saying not one person has actually taken the prize of $5 million to prove you were wrong.
He took it off the fucking table, you dunce.
And you've gone around since then to these secretaries of state and presented your...
Yeah, the secretaries of state are, it's a little known office, but very important.
And you're getting AGs on board now for your final assault?
It's the same AGs who sued Georgia.
Let
me tell you, this is the big announcement, everyone. I made a promise to this country that we would, with all the evidence I have, that we would get it to the Supreme Court, and I predicted they would vote 9-0 to look at the evidence.
Yes, we're familiar with absolute 9-0. It was a masterpiece. I was glad to cover the whole thing. It was a joy. Please explain to me how that's definitely going to happen now. Huge announcement. Here it comes.
Now, we had originally, I had hoped for August and September. When we had, that's why we had the Cyber Symposium, was to spread the word that, yes, this was from the 2020 election.
Sure.
Because what is our biggest block? The media is our biggest block. After the Cyber Symposium, Steve, which all 50 states were present, the media went completely Fox. I call it going Fox on me. Nobody talked to me. They went.
Yeah, because it was embarrassing, and it's like shitting your pants at the mall. I mean, nobody's going to call at you at the next student council meeting. It's just one of those things. Don't ask me how I know that.
Completely south. Okay, they went in their foxholes like Fox. Shame on you, Fox.
Yes, but by the way, we're all here for it when Mike Lindell shits on Fox. We're fine with that. We would all watch video of him literally shitting on a fox. No, that would be wrong.
Cost our country so much. It's horrible what they've done to our country. But in spite of Fox, everybody, what we've done now is I went and took the evidence, went to these states because it's easier to get in the red states because they don't mind you. Hey, come in and look at our routers and our machines and check out because nothing happened here. Well, guess what? I got news for everybody. Right now, I asked all the lawyers just yesterday, we are taking this case to the Supreme Court before Thanksgiving. Now, maybe Fox will report that today. You heard it here first, that our case is ready. We are bringing it to the Supreme Court before Thanksgiving.
Yeah, huge, huge. Now, a huge announcement would be the Supreme Court is going to look at our case and think it's legit and take it up. They're not going to. Yeah, anytime in the next 2 weeks.
Now, there's many states. I'm not going to sit here. The left-wing media will be calling me up. Who's all on board? You know what? By the time I'm done, I'm hoping all 50 states are on board.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, huge announcement. Oh, Mike. Oh, good Lord. I'm hoping by the time we're all said and done, all 50. Jesus Christ, dude.
Because we want our country back, and we're getting it back. This evidence is 100% non-subjective evidence, and that Supreme Court, they're going to vote 9-0.
Yeah, no, it isn't. And I know that, by the way, watch for Steve Bannon to. Do you think he's going to laugh at Mike this time? I mean, every time as it's gotten longer and longer, it's any day now, any fucking day. It's going to happen. This is going to be this when we turn the and it's going to come around. This is finally. I mean, I said last month, but what I really mean is next month. And sometimes Steve Bannon has him on because he has to, because he buys My Pillow ads, and that's how they keep this stupid show afloat. And Steve Bannon will laugh at Mike Lindell to his face on this show. He's done it live with him in the room.
To take it in.
Okay, hang on. We only got a couple minutes left. You're saying you've gone around.
By the way, the other thing is Steve Bannon likes you to rephrase what you're saying multiple times until he can get a clip he can share as a viral thing. So he makes you say it 3 different ways. That's how Bannon works. Just so you know. He also doesn't shower.
Since then, with your data and your information, you have talked to attorney generals in certain states, and you're saying you believe, and your lawyers are telling these attorney generals are prepared to step up and take your information and get standing and take it to the Supreme Court. This is what you're reporting.
Absolutely. I'm reporting that we will have this before the Supreme Court.
Oh, hold on. Who's we? The AGs from these states?
Thanksgiving. That's my promise to the people of this country. We're all in this together. We worked very hard on this. The reason that
because working smart is out of the question.
Do it back in August, September, and even now, because more and more it's the power in numbers. We want all the states on board because every single state was hacked. Every single state has standing. Steve, I'm going to give you one example. In North Dakota this morning, when I got on there with this liberal radio station, he said, nothing happened in North Dakota. What do you mean dead people and non-residents voted?
Right.
I said they didn't vote. They used their names. In North Dakota, a state of 250,000.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mike. My bad. I thought you were saying that the dead rose from the grave and voted.
Voters.
Wow.
15,000 votes were flipped in North Dakota. That's 6% of the vote. That's in North Dakota. And now in Florida, 900,000 votes were flipped.
Okay.
You know.
Okay, hang on. And
no, they were not. If 900,000, find the 900,000 people. What the fuck are you talking about? Yes, prove it. How easy? Look, if you're saying it was 5,000 vote difference and we have proof that 6,500 votes were flipped and therefore we think it was messed about, or we have evidence that 1,500 were done, and we think that there's probably more if we would look, and we would like to do an audit. And if there's 900,000, there's just like no way to miss it. Like county clerk after county, it'd have to be Republicans were completely in on installing Biden as because they can't stand Trump. Like, what kind of fantasy world would you have to live in where the numbers are that huge? But the problem is he has to have numbers that huge in states that went for Trump, because they can't just put it all in the states that went for Biden. They got to scatter it about. They have to statistically average them out to all the other states and just use pockets of, well, what's a number people will believe about North Dakota? 12,000? 22,000? How many do we need? We need 27,000. Let's do 14,000 there, and then we'll do in South Dakota, we'll do another 30,000. And that's, people will buy that.
A canvas that's going to back. We got to jump. We only got 30 seconds.
You got 30 seconds to explain how you're going to canvas places.
Got a canvas.
We canvas all these counties. We've had canvassers out there all over the country that back up real things with the real data.
Well, now you need the French connection.
Okay, we'll have you back on, Mike. We got to jump. I know you're going to be on.
Yeah, Mike, really great, really interesting. By the way, we'll jump right over to what his other clip is, and I think this was probably before that was being said. I think this is criminal activity found on Dominion machines. That's not a big statement or anything, and that's not related to anything he's being sued for. So criminal activity being found on Dominion machines. Criminal activity. Here we go.
You've been uncharacteristically quiet. The War Room posse is like beside themselves. Where's Lindell? What has he been doing? Has he gone underground on us? So walk us through with the.
He and Tina Peterson have been going from motel to motel, avoiding the federales.
Elements of your fight to get to the bottom of 3 November.
Like sleeping?
Well, here's what we have. By the way,
all these guys think Lindell is an asshole. They just got to keep him on the hook because he keeps buying ads. They all think it's a joke. I'm dead serious. Beyond all the fact, like Steve Bannon's a scumbag. These guys are scumbags. None of them actually believe Lindell in anything that he says. They all know for a fact that Lindell is a lunatic and he's talking out of his ass. But he's got money and he's a little stupid, so they're happy to take his money to fund the rest of the show. And to do that, they have to placate him by getting him on the show and teeing it up. But Steve Bannon laughs at him all the fucking time. Steve Bannon knows that Mike Lindell is a joke. And he is using Mike Lindell to fund his show. He doesn't give a rat's ass. He knows it's bullshit. He's done this multiple times. They think he's a joke. It's a running gag inside the war room. They do it all the time. And when he's on, they'll make fun of him right to his face.
Off of a liberal, hard left radio station in North Dakota about an hour ago, and they kind of blindsided me. But that poor fella didn't get a word in edgewise for over a half hour, and so
well, cocaine's a hell of a drug.
I'm going to be going to North
956 people just in the chat on YouTube. That's right. That's what popularity looks like. How you doing? My little show here that we just started last year, kicking some butt and taking some names with all new graphics that I've designed myself. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Give a thumbs up. We're very close to 25K on YouTube. I'm just saying, if you're watching, or you watch this later, you're stumbling upon this, just subscribe. You don't even have to hit the notification bell. I'm on regularly, so you don't have to be reminded. I've got a schedule.
Here's what I've been doing, everybody.
What?
Since the Cyber Symposium, okay?
Excuse me, it's pronounced Cyberama.
It was the best success we could ever ask for. Remember?
No. No, it was not the best success you could ever hope for. I mean, just off the cuff, I'm guessing that if it was so amazing that people all over the world, including the Supreme Court, were insisting that Biden resigned late Friday night, Saturday, the Supreme Court installed Donald Trump, that would be the best you could hope for if you're Mike Pillow and you're a lunatic. I'm just saying, it wasn't the best you could hope for. It was a fart in a jar, is what it was. It was sitting on a jar, farting, and trying to get the lid on before it escapes. And you were unsuccessful.
Nobody claimed the 5 million because all the data I have is from the 2020 election, and that was a home run. And then also,
you had to certify the people there that it, and your only thing was it from the dates around that. There was no way to find it out in that amount of time. It was a ridiculous amount of stuff to prove all of it was real or all of it was fake. But it was like he set an impossible standard. It's just silly. And I'm telling you right now, it isn't. It's a collection of like digital gibberish from all over the place. Just borrowed website coding and bullshit.
All the states were there. All 50 states were represented. So what has happened since that day? I have been nonstop going state to state, and mostly red states, by the way, because remember.
Yeah, well, that's where all the corruption is.
This happened in every state with the machines and with this cyber attack. Now, what we're doing, Steve, is what we're doing, and I'm going to make a big announcement here in a minute because
so we inverted the surprise, but what he says is that they're going to be at the Supreme Court by Thanksgiving.
Audience, I promised your audience something, and we're going to fulfill that promise here in about 5 minutes. And
in 5 minutes, just hang on through the ad.
But what I've
Hal,
done,
don't you dare make me feel sorry for Mike Lindell. Don't get confused. Originally, I thought Mike Lindell was sort of a lovable sap who was just really confused and, a former addict whose brain was a little soft and yada yada. No, he's an actual asshole too. He's a liar. I mean, hold on. I mean, let's go with we could probably just look up Mike Lindell and Tangerine and you'll see what I mean. So Mike Lindell comes out later on the day. Oh, I'm still sore. I don't know how I get. And I was attacked. Many people don't know that I was attacked. I was attacked by a tacky tax. And there's no way around it. Police are looking for a man who reportedly aggressively poked Mike Lindell, although an eyewitness says it was a nothing burger of an attack. Later on, the Mike Lindell attack that allegedly happened in South Dakota now involves a Tangerine carried by the attacker. Apparently, he got naveled in his side. This is the guy, by the way, who went and got a picture. He had a Tangerine in his hand. It poked Mike Lindell in the side. Mike was doubling over with pain. Sioux Falls police, we are looking for help identifying this man. He's suspected in committing an assault at a hotel near Russell Street and West Avenue. This guy wanted a picture with Mike Lindell and got one, was very happy about it. Mike Lindell thought that he was clearly, shady. And it turns out the guy just had a Tangerine in his hand and it poked Mike Lindell in the ribs. So Mike Lindell had the cops looking for a guy who wanted a picture with him because the guy accidentally poked him in the side. He shanked him with a Tangerine. And he still sells this bullshit to this day. He didn't back off it. That was my mistake. I thought the guy was a little aggressive and weird. It turned out to be a Tangerine. It was a drive-by fruiting, right? Which you could have done. Could have reclaimed your dignity, said it was not that big a deal. It really, really hurt. The guy apologized, yada, yada, yada. But he didn't do that. He sent the cops after this dude. He made it a big deal when it wasn't. He still maintains that lie. He's an asshole. Mike Pillow is an asshole. He's also a dope that's easy to take advantage of. But on top of that, he's mean-spirited. And for the longest time, I just thought he was just kind of like pitiful. No, he's a dick.
As we go to a state, let's say it's Missouri.
It's Missouri. I thought we were saying it together. Let's just say it's Missouri. It's Missouri.
Met with your Secretary of State, all these.
Yeah, it's funny how you can meet with all the Republican states that went to Trump and try to gin up some people because they happen to be red states that will support you in your bullshit lawsuit against the other states that didn't vote that way.
A state legislature.
By the way, I'll say the same thing to Mike Lindell that I would say to like AOC. Win over the other side and then call me. Democrats that turn a blue district bluer are not impressive. And him getting Republican AGs who are already in on that stupid lawsuit against Georgia that got kicked out of the Supreme Court, being on board with him again because they're embarrassed. You don't get points for that either.
Even a senator, a U.S. senator, and county commissioners, we come in and they say, well, it didn't happen in Missouri. Donald Trump won Missouri. We're all red here. And I said, yes, it did happen. And we show them the evidence that I have specific to their state. And these are things we didn't dig this deep into the cyber symposium because of time. But then
you didn't have time. You had to just do this. You couldn't actually prep and work on things. You had to turn it into a 3-day live stream and a contest. Because that's what's important, because you need to sell some MyPillow ads, and you can't have them on Fox anymore because of you fucking around with the Dominion thing. By the way, again, we got time left. We're only 2 minutes into this. Criminal activity found on Dominion machines is the name of this clip.
Extra thing for them. We show them we get their voter rolls. They're very willing to give us everything for this like audit type thing. We get their voter
audit type thing. I am. I said I want to vote next to you. I said you wouldn't have to cheat me too. Sex type thing, vote type. Never mind. Audit type thing.
And then during the election, then after, and what that consisted of. Then we go into a specific county, and we canvass the county. And what we find out is every single county in the United States was hacked. And what happens is we find all these dead people that voted. We find
why wouldn't you find all of them?
All these non-residents that voted. They're called phantom voters. Okay, and
yes, chase those all over the country. This is the Bigfoot of voting scandals. Phantom voters, everyone. Yeah, everyone. Phantom voters. It's the phantom. That's what he's doing now. He's officially Michael Lindell is now chasing phantom voters.
That matches.
Yes, phantom of the voting booth.
Cyber numbers exactly.
Okay.
Okay, but please jump in.
been amazing.
Well, hang on.
Hang on.
Can
Can you say that again? Say that again, the same thing you just said, but shorter, and then give me a medium-sized length one so I have a tweet, a Facebook post, and a video out of it.
For a second, hang on. When you say you canvass, this is the controversy out in Arizona, and this is what the federal government sent in this letter out, basically implying criminal charges. You know, the woman who was the woman who was who testified, the professor testified. She's now assistant attorney general. When you say canvass, are you actually having people go out and canvass, or is this some mathematical extrapolation you're doing?
No, Steve, we physically go out there and get it because we want to get everybody on board,
Yeah, that's what's happening. Mike Lindell is sending canvassers out.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
Everywhere. Just.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Right. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Right?
Wow.
I mean, honestly.
Wow. Wow.
So true.
Wow. What?
All right. That was 9 months ago. And on a separate track, Steve, we have now had other cyber forensic experts peer review stuff we have, like in Mesa County, which we'll talk about that in a second too, in Mesa County, Colorado. But more importantly, right now
in Mesa County, where Tina Peters is, where she gave out the passwords to the voting machines there. But again, remember, the title of this video is Criminal Activity Found on Dominion Machines. Criminal activity. Here we go. Criminal activity.
Well, actually, they're
so far same bullshit.
Very important on two separate tracks. I have gotten now, I met with Alabama, and Alabama has one of the best systems I've ever seen for voting, but they were still hacked. And
it's weird. Isn't that funny? Yeah. It's almost as if you're going to nothing but red states, and you're finding out that red states had votes flipped in them, and you're automatically assuming that those red states flipped votes away from Biden to Trump. Or, away from Trump to Biden, and not the other way around. Could it be that you're stumbling on the key to Republicans' election success in red states over the last few years, and how they've managed to keep their states from going purple or anything else, is that you're assuming the votes were meant for Trump but were given to Biden, when it could be very well that Biden won those states, because you're not saying the votes, you're going by the count of people who should have voted for Trump, or the number that Trump should have won by in these states. That's what he's arguing.
We're digging in to show them how they were.
So red states you're in red states. They were all hacked. Trump won those states. Cogito ergo sum, Biden stole votes from Trump.
Because it's very interesting in Alabama. They're actually using a system that we're proposing with the burned CDs. I couldn't believe it. We're sitting there I met with the governor for a little bit to say hello, and then I met with the Secretary of State.
So they're using your plan, and they have 100,000 phantom votes.
Of people, and I was amazed. I go, you guys are doing exactly what we proposed, but yet you were still hacked, and it was to the tune of
You're doing exactly what we think you should do, and you were hacked. 100,000 votes. 100,000. Yeah.
100,000 votes.
But hang on.
Wait. Hold on. You're going to red states. You're finding that you're assuming these votes weren't taken from Biden and given to Trump.
Let's leave Alabama. Let's put a pin in that. So let's go back to Mesa County. How did you actually get I know we've had the county clerk who kind of came and said all this.
Yeah, she's in the next hotel room. They got adjoining rooms.
As a whistleblower. But how did you actually get the data?
She's not a whistleblower. She's not blowing the whistle on anything. She's not a whistleblower. She gave away the passwords to these machines by posting stuff on the internet. She allowed unauthorized people access to the voter rolls, the voting machines, the technology there. She did that. She broke the law.
information to do any analysis. That's still the state of Colorado. Is that public information? And I thought Dominion saying it's either their information or they've got proprietary rights because they have a contract. How did
Mike's already talking to somebody who isn't there again.
Lindell end up with this information?
See what I mean? He has these weird little conversations between conversations. While you're talking, he mouths what you're saying.
Under Cora, anyone can get anyone can get that information in. It's the Colorado. It's called Cora, but anyone has the right to that, as the public has the right to it. But what Dominion did, everybody, what they did is they went across the state of Colorado. Every single Dominion machine now has been put in. It's called the trusted bill. What they did is they removed the 2020 election, and they removed.
Yeah, it's over.
It illegally. It's a federal.
No, you don't keep that shit in the machines. Those are terminals.
It's a Colorado crime.
But hang on a second. What didn't the Secretary of State of Colorado ask them to do that? I mean, they just didn't go on their own volition and do it. Weren't they requested? But in this, the whistleblower brought up.
Right. If you didn't do it as a county commissioner, which was illegal for her to do this.
No, it wasn't.
If you didn't do it, you had to send in your Dominion machines to the Secretary of State's office, and they would do it for you and send your machines back. But what happened in Colorado, which they didn't expect, Tina Peters did her job. She took a forensic footprint before they came in. She goes, "Wow, if you're erasing stuff, I need a footprint so I know it was erased if they'd ever," because they have to keep that for 22 months by the federal law.
Yeah, they keep it, but they keep it with the Secretary of State's office. The clerk doesn't get to keep the machines with the last election on it. Why would you?
And 25 months by Colorado law. So she took a before and after, Steve. Now the before and after, everybody, these guys that
before they erased the machine, there was this information on it. After they erased the machine, there was different information on it, meaning there was no information on it. Good God.
3 forensic teams dove into this, and guess what? You can look at frankspeech.com right now. We put it up. That whole report is out today, Steve.
Well, all right. Let's check it out. Frank Speech. Do I have to sign into this shit again? I gotta, sorry. I have to create there we go. And then, let's see. Wackadoodle at yahoo.com. Okay. I'm not a robot. Fire hydrants. Thank you. Going into Frank's speech. Hi, little one. Chipped came in, everybody. Let's see. What happened? Hi. What are you doing? What are you doing, little one? Hi, Chip. What you doing? The cat came in. The kitten. He's here. Hold on. Mesa County bombshell recovery. Okay, here it is. Click here to read or download the report. Here you go. This is it. Confidential legal documents exempt from Colorado Open Records Act. Exempt from Colorado Open Records Act. September 17, 2021. Board of Commissioners, Mesa County Clerk and Recorder. Honorable Janet Rowland, Chair, Board of County Commissioners. Scott Ines, RE Forensic Report number 1 on EMS server images. EMS server image. Okay. Dear Commissioners, enclosed is the first report from the cybersecurity experts who have analyzed thoroughly the 2 forensic images of the drives of the DAVS Democracy Suite election management system in my office, which we use for the management of the 2020 election. Because the report documents a substantial amount of data destruction during the May 25th trusted build conducted by the Secretary of State's office of the vendor, I wanted this to get in their hands immediately. I just received this report today. From my review of the executive summary, it does appear that my concerns were more than justified. As you know, the legal duty to preserve election records falls solely to me in my office. Extensive amount of data required to be preserved were instead destroyed and done in a way that was totally beyond my control or knowledge. Among other things, these deletions would preclude a forensic audit of the last election. Thanks. Oh, would preclude a forensic audit of the last election. Then I thought you were able to have a forensic audit of the last election. Thanks to the pre-trusted build image I had commissioned in May, these data have been preserved in full compliance with my obligations under federal law. According to this report, the forensic examination has determined that this system and procedures cannot meet the certification requirement of the state of Colorado and should not have been certified for use in the state. Obviously, this is highly relevant to any decision whether to continue. I don't know what that's based on. The experts conducting the forensic analysis are apparently issuing additional reports in the near future. Yeah, I mean, it's not all here, but it should be all here. Yeah. In the meantime, hi, buddy. Hi. Whoops. Hold on. What are you doing? Come here. Come here, stinker. Come here. This little guy is hopping around. Hi. Hello. How are you? Are you having fun? What are you doing? What are you doing, stinker? Are you okay? Yeah? Did you want to come down and just say hi? You just gonna run around on the floor of the office, look at the fan? Hello. I know. We had an adventure. We did have an adventure. Are you feeling okay? He's still Poopy McGee a little bit, but he's more Farty McGee right now. Hi, Farty McGee. Yeah, you. What are you doing? I know. Well, I'm busy. I'm doing a show. All right, you can get down. Here you go. Here, go and look around. Here you go. Try not to chew on anything that'll electrocute you. Okay, report number 1, forensic examination and analysis. Okay, executive summary, introduction, legal references, forensic analysis, system identification, authenticity and chain of custody. Findings. Okay, here we go. This is a lot. This is a lot in here. This report documents initial findings. It's not I mean, don't expect too much. These voting systems represent a portion of overall election system infrastructure. Findings, ongoing investigation findings of this report were prepared by the cyber forensic expert retained to advise the county clerk pursuant to her duties. Who is that person? Should we find out? Let's see. The extent and manner of destruction of data comprising these election results is consequential, precluding the possibility of any comprehensive forensic auditing. Okay. 2 backup images using forensic imaging methods were obtained by from the Dominion voting systems, Democracy Suite Management, and Standard Server in Mesa, Colorado. The first image was made of that EMS standard server in the D Suite configuration used in November 2020. Second image was of the configuration of the EMS server in the D Suite version following the modification of the EMS standard by combined with the Colorado. The forensic information provided in this report is presented using screenshots from forensic analyst systems running industry standard forensic software tools. The report includes before and after screenshots from the forensic tool. Oh boy, before and after screenshots. Where are these? Let's get some. I need some screenshots. Here we go. System event. This forensic analysis. Here it comes. So exciting. The server that was analyzed is capable of operating on a small local area network, LAN to the who's at home. The network consists of several systems, including servers and workstations running in a non-virtualized environment. The server that we evaluated was named M Server. She's lovely. Sorry, no, EMS server, and is running the Microsoft Windows Server 2016 standard operating system. Forensic evaluation reviews were based on forensic image. The before and after forensic images were collected from the same server, same hard drive as documented below from the actual acquisition. The serial number of the hard drive shown in each collection data. Okay. All right, images, attributes before. Drive serial number, okay. Drive serial number, okay. 2 backup images were obtained using forensic imaging methods. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, these are authenticity chain. The digital chain of custody is the record of preservation of digital evidence in the court of law. This is an essential part of the digital process. The chain of custody is 2 images analyzed. The serial number of the EMS drive on both machines images matches, thus establishing both images taken from the same physical drive. I have reviewed the document, blah, blah, blah. FTK manager may say, we don't know who the person is, but okay. Findings, overview, data, system, software, okay. Overview of the system data sources. There's a picture that's slightly different. EMS data before. EMS drive now, okay, but this is what the drive had on it as far as information at what was taken up in the space. Other, obviously playing a very big part. I don't know why the update is an issue. The disk partition structure is structured how the hard drive is divided up. Note changes in disk volumes and directory structures. So what? Unallocated, unowned, and what? Computer hard drives or data storage drive must be prepared for use. Specifically, they must be partitioned in logical volumes, then formatted. Partitioning a hard drive is the equivalent of scoring horizontal and vertical rules on a paper. Okay. This is before and after an update. Who the fuck cares? I mean, this is supposed to dazzle you with digital stuff. Yeah, this is DOS, right? Web log files prior to the Dominion update, there were 240 log files in this folder. After the update, there are only 3 logs. Yeah, because this is from the last election. This is for the election that's coming up. So in the last election, these are all kept on they was all downloaded. These are all someplace else. And they kept this stuff stored elsewhere. And then these are about the upcoming 2020 election. This is from last year, presumably, what was in there. Or what's going to be, this is from 2020, and this is for, getting them ready, essentially, for 2022. Again, let's see. So, okay, the database manages all the actual election data, votes from each ballot. These log files contain information detailing the installation of SQL Server. Okay, so there's one directory of this stuff. 6/10/2019. And then 4/27/2021. So they didn't leave the stuff on from 2019? No? Right. They updated the software since then to deal with new security issues, what have you. That would be the guess. Server installation. These logs were created okay. Again, but these log files keep track of events that occur within the SQL server that manages the election databases, which have all been downloaded at other times. The EMS server, these files are different. File dates are different. Original files have been replaced with new. Previously 116 files, now only 71 files. Again, this is because they updated the software. This is normal. Again, they're trying to freak everybody out. EMS server, Dell server update files. Okay, Dell server update files. Take note of what files remain following the update. Not only are the files in an entirely different directory, but the file modification dates have changed. And more importantly, these logs are different versions of the software and the previous log. Yes, they updated it. That's the whole purpose of it. That's why you have a chain of command when they actually do it. That's why you're present when it occurs. This is so fucking boring. I know, they're trying to make people go, oh my God, these are different and they're supposed to be the same, and they're not. By the way, I'm going to print out that whole thing and look over the entire thing on my own time. God damn, this is dumb, though.
Well, hey, let's go. First off, I just want to go back to the county clerk.
Yeah, go back to the county clerk.
Secretary of State, and this is the controversy with the whistleblower, because they're saying they directed Dominion to do this, correct? Dominion was directed by the Secretary of State of Colorado to do the trusted build, whatever this update of the machine was, correct?
I think they were in cahoots. That's me being subjective. Are you kidding me? Dominion wanted to erase it. Yeah. I don't know.
I'm just saying they were okay. So, but my point is, Tina Peters has got this, and there's a controversy about her whether she had the right to share that information or not. After you got the information, and you guys will figure that out with Dominion and the state,
they'll figure it out.
Colorado. What you brought in individual cyber experts to do what exactly?
There's 3 different groups that came in, and they did deep dives now since the symposium. What has it been now? Almost a month. It takes quite a while, everybody, to dig into these cyber packet capture, all these things that are on there.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. And imagine all the time you spend looking at stuff and going big bullshit. This could take decades before we ever find anything. We just had to keep looking.
Machines on the logs, I guess, not packet capture, they're logs.
Yeah, so that's the difference. None of the audience knows the difference. Both of them sound really sinister.
Then, and they said, here, what was the footprint before and after? Just like you would do on a computer if you updated your computer, Steve.
Yeah, you wouldn't, let's say, leave everything that was on there previously on the new build, because there's no purpose to doing that, because the information from the actual election was stored with the Secretary of State's office, and these are just machines, and you don't want that information floating around, especially in the hands of county clerks who are allowing lunatics who have no right to look at the machines that have people's voting information, their social security numbers, all kinds of other stuff involved in it, their driver's license number, their address, and all that kind of stuff. leave that on the machine when she's letting people come in there and just have their own way with it against against her oath and the law.
You'd want to know what happened before and after. And what they found is absolutely criminal. They found the logs are deleted. They put on stuff that can go online, so they can go online. Okay. There's back doors. There's
there's back doors. Is there a back door in here? Where's there back doors? I want a picture of the back door. I'm just saying. Log files overwritten. Let's see. Server election database is missing. That's because they were saved elsewhere. The HPCP log. Yeah, they store them on hard disks anyways. They don't keep them in the soft server. Events log is missing. Below screenshots, the election related information, cast vote records, audit marks, image retrievals, EMS. These folders store the information for each user accounted on the server. These are log files that contain information for the people who work there, right? I mean, this is stuff they're supposed to do. Server list of log files before image was deleted. Okay. Hi, can I help you? What are you doing? Hi. Are you messing with stuff on the floor? What are you doing? What are you doing? No, you're not going to eat that. What are you doing? He's got another one of these twist ties, or where is it? Here it is. One of the cable ties. Here, play with that one. What is that? He's so cute. It's brutal.
Hang on. Given some of the problems we had with your other cyber guys, some who turned out to be not part of this.
They weren't.
You mean the guys who look at stuff? They weren't my guys. I never even met these guys.
They were not. Okay, my
fine.
cyber.
They weren't your cyber guys. They were white hat hackers that I brought in. They just noticed I was full of shit and didn't want to sell my line of crap.
I'm just saying.
The red team.
These. The red team. These three cyber. Have you put out the names of these groups? Are these groups in your report you've got up on Frank's Speech? Can people actually see their credentials?
Yeah, you can see the credentials on frankspeech.com. I know the one lead guy is on there for sure. The one guy that did it over here. The other two guys that were peer reviewed that did their own independence. So we just wanted to validate, and validate, just like I do with everything.
Yeah,
we did a triple validation.
Yes, just like he does with everything.
And then Steve, had one of my guys that I've had since February also.
Oh, I didn't realize that Mike Lindell has been having a guy since February. That's lovely.
Check it out to validate them and to make sure we have everything. Okay. We're still finding more every day. It's
fine.
It's the biggest cover-up in history.
We'll get it and put it up on our thing, but is there independent? You lay out who the name of the group is, and so people can independently go check.
No, he doesn't. They're not even listed in her document.
Qualifications
that I've seen so far, just for the record. Like, as I'm scrolling through this and their chain of command and all that kind of stuff, never mind the pictures, significant number of log files missing. Yes, because they don't pertain to the new build. That's why it's a trusted build. That means there's people present when the build is done, and they take out the other stuff. It basically takes the computer back to zero. I don't know why this is a surprise to anyone. Commission before and after forensic is a comparative list of files that were deleted, either deliberately erased or overwritten with disregard for the preservation of these files, some of which contain election-related data, some of which, a readable list is in Appendix C. Oh, good, because this isn't readable. Log archive, because they're the same thing over and over again. But okay, analysis. The analysis of the Dominion identified that extensive deletion of both election data and election-related data comprising election records, which must and should have been preserved under federal and Colorado law. They are. They're just not. They're not saved there. Has occurred either as a result or or coincident with the vendor and CEO's, the Colorado Secretary of State's modification of the system for version 5.11. During the update. Jesus Christ. This deleted data is critical to any effort to reconstruct events taking place on the voting machines to determine about. Oh God. Furthermore, the EMS server application logging functions are configured to overwrite events as needed if arbitrarily selected file storage sizes are exceeded, which could predictably and likely as a result in the system. They download all the shit that's on there. Conclusion. This forensic examination found significant election record preservation requirements under 2002 VSS and federal and state law have not been met. Further destruction of election-related data, specifically critical log files, has occurred. This destruction is not incidental or minor, but is highly significant, in italics. These findings have been demonstrated in this report, and evidence has been presented demonstrating conclusively to both computer systems experts as well as legal professionals and the general public at large that the facts in these findings support conclusions that, 1, election-related data and election data explicitly required to be preserved as described in the 2002 VSS criteria referenced in this section has been destroyed in violation of the law, which is not true. The results of the election and the log files around that, like, they're totally different things. The specific configuration settings of the, this might be a good idea. Hold on. Let's see. Record preservation requirements. Elections, Colorado. There you go. This would be the statute around the preservation of election records. I'm sorry if I'm boring you guys. Overview of statute. A designated election official must preserve election records for at least 25 months after an election or until the time expires for which the records may be used in any contest proceeding, whichever is later. Any unused ballots, whichever is later. Okay. Any unused ballots may also be destroyed after the time for a challenge passes. In elections involving federal candidates on the ballot, the designated election official must also keep the voted ballots and other required election materials for at least. Okay, so this is the statute. Voting systems. Okay. The designated election will be responsible for any election, 25 months, proceeding, election candidates, source, entire article, blah, blah, blah. Let's see. Recalled regulation, elections. What is the designated, okay, in the election records, definition of election. What defines the record itself is what I want to know. Because it's one thing to, to conclude, let's see in here. Here you go. Custody and preservation. Okay. Overall statute. Registration books shall be left in the custody of the county clerk and who's responsible for it. The oaths and affirmations, application for affidavit registration, federal postcard applications, and the voter information provided by a pre-registrant who will not turn 18 shall be kept confidential in the same manner as, okay. County clerk recorder must protect confidentiality of all information, which is what Tina Peters failed to do. That's a violation of the law related to pre-registration for individuals under 18 and above, blah, blah, blah. Cross-reference. Registration records, voter... Okay. That's the... The preservation of records, meaning who voted and that. Okay. Colorado... here you go. Municipal... let's see. Records retention schedule. Acknowledgements. I'm having a hard time finding precisely what qualifies. Okay, how to use Colorado retention schedule. Building and structure records. Address history files. Applications, building permits, building. Okay, this is all. Cemetery. Election records. Absentee voter records. Ballot issue comments. Ballots. Campaign reports and statements. Complaints and supporting documentation. Coordinated election records. Let's see what that is. 1506. Okay, so let's scroll down here to section 15. These are election records. All right, this is what qualifies as an election record. Hi, silly. What are you doing? Are you chewing on something? Be careful, will you? All right. Absentee voter records. They obviously still have all those. Ballot issue comments. Written comments received from persons eligible to vote in the election to be summarized in the ballot. Okay, whatever. Ballots. The ballots themselves. Master copy of the ballot, sample ballots, and all other sample ballots. So you need one copy on record of each of those. Campaign reports and statements. The candidates, the elected, the unsuccessful candidates, what they spent it on, their issues, committees, complaints and supporting documentation. Anybody who files a problem. Coordinated election records. Okay. Abstracts of votes cast, counties issued. County abstracts of votes cast, certification of election results relating to the municipal portion. Retention is permanent. Records generated for coordinated. Okay. Ballot certifications. Municipal. Okay, they got a record on that. Election equipment records. Detailed records for each component of any voting system owned and maintained by the municipality, including the manufacturer, make, model, serial number, hardware, software version, release number, date of acquisition, description of service, repairs, maintenance, upkeep, version updates, maintenance, and trouble logs. Trouble logs, not just logs in general, but trouble logs if they have a problem. Life of the equipment, or 6 months after the last election which is used, which is precisely when this shit happened. The logs that we're looking at are trouble logs. These are issues that they had. God damn it, this is so dumb. Election history files. Election history files containing permanent records of elections and summary election results. They already have that. Okay, that's on paper. Election judges records. Appointment records, expense statements, mail ballot election records. Records relating to mail ballot elections, including affidavits of voters requesting replacement ballots, ballots cast, duplicated, rejected, undeliverable, unused, that's in the record. Paper or electronic poll books, that's all kept. Mail ballot return verification envelopes, mail ballot processing logs, and this is a paper, by the way. This is a handwritten. Voter registration lists are doubled when people fill out that stuff. Written Tabor comments and other mail ballot administrative records. And this is the mail ballot processing logs. Even if it's digital, those are still online. They have those. They keep those. That's not what is even alleged to be missing in these documents. Maps for the election, nomination records. That's what they keep. Nomination petitions, notices of election, oaths and affidavits. When people sign a piece of paper saying that they, like when Tina Peters signed her oath after she took it. Petitions, ballot measures and recall, and annexation, de-annexation, election petitions, and like whether or not a petition got on the ballot, all the documents on that, they got to keep that for 3 years after submission, except retain one copy of representative pages permanently for historical purposes. Right. Polling records. Okay. A list kept by election judges of electors casting votes in an election. So the poll books are kept for 3 years. Poll lists. Lists of registered electors provided of an election. That's all online anyways. Everybody has that. Poll site records. Documentation of selection of site and arrangements for use of poll place. Like any letter that says we're using the church, we're using the school, we're using the building, we're not using the church, the school, or the building. Voters' signature forms. So forms signed by voters at the polls to establish identity and request a ballot. So which everybody signs when they come in there. They keep that 45 days after the election if there is no challenge. There was no challenge. Receipts and accounting forms, documentation of the receipt and transfer of ballots and other election kits. Surveillance records, election areas. Video or audio recordings of election, keep that 6 months after the election. By the way, that's when this trusted build was made, 6 months after the goddamn election. Tabulation and electronic certification records. The official abstract, official certification of the election results, that's the thing that goes up there. They keep a copy of that. It's a permanent record. Tabulation test results, records of testing of the tabulation equipment prior to and after the machine tabulation. Keep that for 6 months after the election. So that's when they got rid of this too. After it's certified, the election's already been passed, then we dump that shit. We don't need it anymore. The tabulation test results are gone. This is exactly the same shit. Unofficial election results records. 6 months after the election. This is exactly when all this shit was dumped. This nonsense, this is precisely when this build happened. Let's see. May 25th, trusted build. It was past the 6 month area. It took them a little longer, probably because of COVID. After 6 months, that's almost to the day. So stupid. None of this stuff like, oh, the logs are gone. The logs are gone. The logs don't have to be kept. They get rid of that shit. They have all the other information that they need. This is what they have to keep. They kept all of what they have to keep. They dump anything they don't have to keep. And then they restart the machines for the next election. And they leave them blank until next time because they're going to have to do a trusted build the year of the election. So next spring, when they decide on all the candidates and who's finally going to be used, by the way, they're going to use them for primaries more than likely. So they might have variant primaries, local shit. So that's why they don't keep it a year or make it 2 years because that'll fuck into the next election. This isn't even hard to look up. This is the rule. These are the rules. They met and followed the rules. It is so fucking dull. Contested elections. Destruction of non-permanent election records is authorized at the end of the specified minimum retention period, that's 6 months, provided that there's no contested election. There was no contest. However, if the election is contested, all election records must be retained until the contest has been finally resolved and all rights to appeal have expired. Joe Biden is fucking president. It's over. He took an oath. He's in. You work on the next election, kids. It was 6 months and he won. There was no real contest. No one could show anything. They kept all that shit all during that period of time. They didn't have anything. It's just dumb. It's dumb 100 times. This is fucking embarrassing. God, like, I didn't need to know this. You didn't need to know how Colorado's rules are, but they're similar to other states. It's 6 months after the election. 6 months after the election, they did all the shit that's in this logbook, and Tina Peters like, they got rid of all this stuff. It's because they're supposed to. Jesus.
Fine.
Yeah,
let's take a short commercial. Let's take a short commercial break. You want to answer your question now?
I just don't understand. The so-called progress is not always a good thing. Why go digital? In France, 60 million people, bigger than any of the states in the United States. We have a piece of paper with a specific format, and within the hour, we know the results. So I don't understand why you're trying to go digital on your election. It is so easy to have
We don't go digital on our elections. We vote, and then there's a printed out version of it. We confirm it to make sure that what we've typed in on the screen actually happens, because we had the hanging chads and the bubbles and stuff outside the line. So this confirms it, makes it uniform. And we confirm it before we give it to the person. They put it in an envelope. That's how it goes. Then it's counted.
specific piece of paper.
we're not.
People that come, check it out.
You're talking to the king of anti-digitals.
I never thought I'd say this, and we have to learn from the French. We have to learn from the French.
Mike, fire the Jets up. You got to get over to France. They're your role model. Okay, short commercial break.
Yeah.
Head over. Uncharacteristically cold.
Jesus. Like, I don't know who the French guy is. He's just somebody they have as a guest on or whatever. But Bannon makes a lot of money in Europe talking to far-right lunatics in France and Germany. That it's probably part of that group. But again, you're talking about the state of Colorado. He's bringing up the state of Colorado. All of this stuff is on the colorado.gov website. This is what they have to keep. They kept all of it. Mike Lindell's an asshole. Steve Bannon knows it. He's making money off of him.